You never know how dangerous cybersecurity really is until you see what's going on in the background. Let me give y'all a little story. So while I was in the Army, my unit had sent me to a class to learn, some access point stuff, some Wi-Fi stuff. And what they didn't tell us was that they had a beginner ethical hacker. I wouldn't even say beginner. They had an ethical hacker in the background with us. He was 16 years old. Didn't even graduate high school yet. So while they're teaching the class, he's just in the background on his laptop doing whatever. And it finally comes to his portion of the class to teach. First thing he says is, how many of y'all have y'all Wi-Fi search button on?
All of them.
What? So we all pull out our phones. I look at mine. I'm like, dang. I was searching for Wi-Fi the whole time. Wow.
Safe to say it didn't end there.
Buddy pulls up his laptop. He has a list of devices, MAC addresses, and internet service providers. Buddy pulled out an example of using the Flipper Zero to access people's hotel rooms.
Pretty sure that's a crime.
Yeah.
And I haven't even hit the worst part yet.
That's
This
too
man created
much.
a splash page for every airline that he has ever been on. So whenever you guys try to log into the Wi-Fi of the airline, he's got your login information.
That ain't right.
Oh, that's crazy.
He knows how many points you have. He knows where you went last time. Safe to say you're cooked.
That's crazy.
That is wild, bro. Yo, that's wild.
That's crazy. What's going on, tech team? It is Just My Tech Sense, and I am WillDoesTech, and I'm joined by my co-host,
JohnnieTech. What's up, Tech fam?
JohnnieTech in the building, on time today.
Yes, sir. Always, always.
Not always, but on time today. So let's give him a round of applause for being on time today.
Always on time, man. 15 minutes early.
It's 15 minutes late. So, what we talking about today, man? You know what, that video, I mean, that...
I had a lot of questions, man. I got a lot of questions about that. Number one, 16-year-old kid being brought in by the government. Like, what was he doing to get on the government's radar?
Man.
Like,
they've been dealing with tech for a long time now.
Man, it hurt my heart a little bit. I'm like, man, this dude know how to do that already?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty good. I know my stuff, but...
They've been trained up that way,
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're grooming them. 16.
That's wild.
At 16, I was working at a restaurant.
Right.
16, you can be a hacker.
It's probably more lucrative.
Ethically, right?
Right.
Ethically.
Right.
I mean, you can work for the government.
Nah, some of the stuff they say he was doing in that video is crazy.
Yeah.
The hotel thing, I'm like, why did you, like, what made you?
He's going too far.
He was like, bro, I need to get in that hotel. Like, what you got going on?
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was like, he said that he created a splash page of, I guess, all these people information that had been logging in, I guess, their loyalty points and all that.
Yeah.
Like, number one, I don't know if he's using their loyalty points, but to be able to track that much data about someone is crazy.
My man's doing too much.
Right.
He's doing too much.
Like he's only 16.
What is his job?
That's what I mean. Like,
what is it? What is his? I'm sure the government is not requiring him to collect everything that he's collecting.
Right.
Now, the demo that he provided, cool. That's what you get to do.
I think he was doing all that stuff, and then the government was like, bro, we got some high level.
That's probably what happened. He probably got in trouble, right?
Exactly. And he's like, listen, you want to go to jail? You want to go home?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. He cut a deal. So,
facts. He's like, man, I'll tell you everything I did. So, Jake.
Right.
But
anyway, so what are we talking about today, man?
Cybercrime versus regular crime.
Okay. What about it?
What's worse?
Come on, man.
What's worse, man? Nah, look, how I would put it, like, my mind just, we watch that video, we see what's going on. People are not thinking about, my opinion is people are not thinking about cybercrime as much. So you're not necessarily as apprehensive about it. You're not thinking, but the widespread attacks that can happen to you, like, your attack vector for cybercrime is much wider than your everyday crime, right? So my mindset is like, I kind of miss the old days when crime was just, you walking down the street.
You missed that. You missed that kind of crime. You can go many places and find that kind of crime.
Yeah, you can. I miss when that was all you had to worry about, man. Like, I'm telling you, man. I don't want that. I don't want that. But I'm just saying, man. When crime was, gotta think about it, man. The same, like,
when
honestly,
it was in your face, right? Like it wasn't as. I mean, again, again, we're not calling for that.
Right.
At the same time, the fact that people can be incognito about the crimes that they're doing, and you have no clue until the effects of that happen to you, right? You check your bank account and you realize, yo, I'm missing money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say, like, you know what? I'm gonna stand on it. I miss old fashioned crime. You know why?
That is.
I'm gonna tell you why.
That is a bad. That is a
I miss
bad
old
take.
fashioned crime. You know why? It's easier to stay away from. I know. Okay, let me not go in that neighborhood. Okay. Let me not go out late at night over here. Let me not do this. But now with cybercrime, you doing everyday things. You going to pump some gas.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they done ejected so much money out of your account, and it's like, okay, dang, the only thing I did was get some gas today.
Yeah.
All I did was go online.
But how'd you let them in? Right. I mean, maybe you had a weak password. Right. Maybe. I mean, there are things that you can also do on the digital side, right, that would mitigate some of the risks that you're talking about.
But it's it's like there's so many ways that they can attack via cybercrime.
Yeah.
That it's literally your everyday activities. Like, yeah, I think there are some solutions to it, but I mean, it impacts you daily, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the amount of things that we use technology wise. For our convenience, so that's our cell phone. It's tracking everywhere we go, right? We're on social media daily, or kids are playing online games. I mean, you're using your credit card, using your phone for payment. You're using technology literally with everything that you do.
Right.
All those things are vulnerable to something, right? No, all those things are vulnerable to some type of cybercrime. I'm not going to say to something, right?
Yeah.
So and then there's so much data because people want your data. You probably carrying around your whole life information inside your phone right now. You know what I'm saying? So like even if someone does regular crime against you, mug you for your phone, the amount of data that they're going to get from that is insane.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
but and sorry to cut you off, but I mean, what you're talking about doesn't really invoke any kind of, fearful kind of emotion, right? If you're being robbed, right? I mean, that is going to be a significant event that you feel, right? I mean, if you're being robbed in person,
honestly,
right?
I like the way you had to break it down. It's traumatic. It can be traumatic,
right?
Yeah.
It's different, but I do also understand, especially when you talk about IoT. IoT is in everything, right?
Yeah,
if you purchase IoT devices like your ovens, your refrigerators, your grills,
it's not if you purchase; it's when you purchase.
It's okay. In the future, it'll be when. Right, but right now, it's if you don't have to purchase a highly digitized refrigerator. People are.
I'm telling you, man. Most people have IoT devices.
I don't have
all over.
My refrigerator is not IoT. My oven is not IoT because again, I would rather.
What you can go on is your air conditioning.
My air conditioning is not IoT either. So again, like you don't have to.
You got a Ring camera. I can go
on.
on.
I don't have a Ring camera. Right.
Right,
So again, like those things you can choose not to have in your life. Mm-hmm. To make sure you are avoiding any of that, right? So I just choose not to have that convenience of being able to set my oven, to 450 when I'm away from home. I just don't want somebody tapping into that and then turning it on, and then when I come home, my oven's on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, because that can happen,
right?
That can definitely happen,
right? So again, like closing those gaps, those holes. Just based on what I know from.
Well, okay, let me ask that question. So, are you doing those things purposely, or are you just like, are you just cheap? Like, I don't need to spend money on that.
No. So the things that I spend money on. So my refrigerator costs money, and it costs a lot of money. My oven costs money, and it costs a lot of money. But I think for me, like when I was 23, I had a BMW, right, and again, still highly technical. Mm-hmm. And like all the faults and things that would come with that car, just because a sensor messed up, I was like, give me a regular car. So now I got a regular vehicle that doesn't have any of the sensors, the niceties. I'm good.
Right.
So I think that was one, and two, just being in the industry for so long, I don't trust it.
But most people, they're looking at the convenience of it, like, okay,
right.
I don't got to get out my bed to change my thermostat.
Yeah.
I don't got to, all these things that are convenient for them. They don't want to they don't want to go away from that. but those things have a lot of vulnerabilities that they might not even be aware of. Like, okay, so
Especially
us bringing that awareness to them is like, okay, well, here's what you're sacrificing. You bring this into your home.
Yep.
This is what you got to worry about. You got Echo devices and Google Home, all those things.
Yep.
There's vulnerabilities within that.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Absolutely.
people are listening to what you're doing. You know, people that got kids out there, you got these baby monitors, right?
Yep.
They could be watching you.
Yeah.
They probably are.
Right. And actually, I had a clip I wanted us to watch.
Okay.
At this point, y'all want me to make it a series. So we're going to talk about how cybersecurity is truly dangerous.
I agree.
Everybody likes to have a secure and safe home, which is why you buy cameras. Have them things around the house, have one at the door, have a Ring camera, stuff like that. But what if I told you some of those cameras have,
backdoors.
where people are probably watching you? And no, I'm not kidding. If your cameras are connected to the internet, they're connected via Wi-Fi or wired, they have probably been accessed by someone else already. And for people out there with children, your baby monitor can also be a target. If you don't know what a backdoor is, think of it as a secret way into a system or a device that does not require you to use the normal login or security steps. So think of it as like a key under a doormat. It's not supposed to be there, but someone left it there for easy access. Sometimes it can be intentional, and sometimes it can be malicious. But a lot of the time,
It's already built into the firmware.
which means if you don't update the firmware, or you don't know there's a backdoor in your firmware, someone is probably watching you. And that's a little,
Yep.
It's a
Hello.
little weird.
That's not even the worst part. There's a website where people are watching people through their cameras because the backdoor
Strange
is completely
people, man.
open.
I'm like,
completely
come
open.
on, man.
It's like fucking YouTube.
It's a website for people to watch
next
people.
time you decide to wave at a camera, somebody's probably looking at you. Somebody's probably waving back.
I agree.
And you don't even know it.
Right.
I agree with him and everything he's saying. And like I read what he mentioned about the baby monitors. I mentioned it. It's like because I was reading articles about that. Of course, I got a few kids, so I'm looking at like, okay, we getting these things. Like, how do we combat that? How do we go against it? But I mean, people are definitely watching. I went to an event. It was like because now we're mentioning IoT, and that's where I kind of learned like, oh man, this is a big deal. Like I was at a B-Sides event, and they were talking about just IoT in general, talking about how he mentioned like, oh, the firmware. So they're being shipped by the manufacturer. So these come from China, all these different places. They're being shipped out with malware and firmware defects in it already. So I'm not even gonna say defects. This is literal things like it's intentional. It's like, okay, these are going to America, not to dive that deep into it, but that's what's going on pretty much. So those are intentional, and then there's also faults where like just mistakes and people figure out the vulnerabilities within that. So your solution is don't bring it in your home. Yeah.
Yeah, and IoT is hard to update, right? I mean, the firmware. I mean,
you're not updating the firmware. Like your everyday average person is not doing that.
Right. So yeah, my choice, if I can help it, is to not bring it into my house. So I don't have any of those devices. I just don't. So again, I would much prefer to get up and change change my thermostat. It is what it is. I ain't that lazy.
I get it, but all right, so that's just one side of the coin, right? Because your argument basically is saying like you're not that worried about cybercrime in general. You think it's
No, I am, which is why I do what I do. Right. I am concerned with it, which is why I would rather not have the conveniences of being able to, again, change a thermostat or turn on the oven from work. I'd rather not have that because I am concerned about cybercrime versus somebody who's not and they just have that in their house.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're not really that concerned, right? Because you have all those things.
Well, I'm aware of it, right? So I was like, I basically, some things that I do, I'm going to accept the risk on some of the things, right? So I understand it's there, so I'm not going to just be over anxious about it, but I do want to like stress to everyone to be aware of it. So if I'm using these devices, I'm pretty tech savvy, so I might put them on a different VLAN, things like that, just to have that separation. You only have a certain amount of access to my network, and do some things like that. But in general, I mean, I hate to say it because it's like, I just want people, like, my whole thing is just awareness. Like, I don't think you can necessarily get away from it. That's why I think cybercrime is just more dangerous because you can't really get away from it. I don't think you can get away from it. I know you brought up some very great solutions. Don't use it. Just like people say, like, regular crime, don't go to these areas. Don't go to these places.
Right. Don't drive. Right. I mean, because, road rage in today's day and age, right? I mean, anything can happen. So the risk is there. It's always going to be there. But for you, right, you can choose to totally avoid the risk, right? You can accept the risk. You can also mitigate it, right? And you have chosen to mitigate the risk,
and that's,
right?
Yeah. So I think, so my whole point is, it's going to be much harder, especially you got to think about where society is going. Half the things you do is going to require that you use the internet of some source. You're going to use some type of technology. You said don't drive. Pretty soon, people going to be, most of their cars are going to be, most cars already have Bluetooth, which can be hacked.
I didn't say don't drive. I'm saying because you got to drive.
Right.
I'm not saying don't drive, right? Because again,
I think you said don't drive.
I said anything you do, right, has risk involved, right?
Right.
Whether you drive, right, when you go out there and let's say,
okay, I get what you're saying. You said, all right, go ahead.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you don't go to, this part of the hood. You can leave out your house today and get into an incident with somebody on the road and be got, right?
That's true. But at the same time, it's like there's I don't know. When we're talking about attack surface, the vector that you, all the ways that you can be attacked via cybercrime, it's just way more. Absolutely. It's way more ways that you can be attacked and you're just doing your regular day activities.
I agree.
Right. So then your same criminals, you have violent criminals that are on the internet as well. They're like catfishing people and, drawing them in, for all kind of things. That's the same type of crime. You're like, oh, I got me a nice date, and then you get there.
Right. Well, it's not crime until it is, right? Again, they draw you in. If you don't go, right, the crime happens when you get there. It ain't what you thought it was. That's where the crime happens.
That's all.
Being fooled is not crime.
But they couldn't even get in contact with you,
right,
without the phishing,
right.
So that's part of the crime.
No,
that's the premeditated part.
Oh, there is premeditation.
Exactly.
There is
so that's
premeditation,
part of the crime.
But the crime doesn't happen until.
That's first degree.
There is premeditation.
Right.
I give you that. At the same time, it requires an action for you to get out of your place of comfort. Right? They draw you out, and then they get you.
Right. It's just, if you're the type of person that's gonna, I think most people in general, they're not. So like, let's say if we're putting this awareness out, people might say, okay, well, I'm gonna go away from using those things. I'm gonna do what WillDoesTech does. Is basically, I'm not gonna use all these devices. I'm gonna be cautious on it. And that's what I think people should do. But it's like most people won't. So like, at least be aware. So then you can decide whether you want to accept the risk or not. But you just not knowing. Yeah. I think at this day and age is unacceptable. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that people can do if they decide to actually use these kind of devices?
If they decide to use these kind of devices?
Yeah, like the baby monitors, right? I mean, I know there are things that they can do, like changing, default passwords and...
Yeah, they can definitely change the passwords. So if you're going to connect it to your Wi-Fi, make sure your Wi-Fi is secure. If you're not that tech savvy, if you're not using it, man, unplug it, Yeah. Put a, I know you need it for certain times or whatever, but when you're not using it, unplug it, put a cover on it, things like that. If you are tech savvy, you can put it on a different VLAN to where they're not getting much access. Things like that. That's for the baby monitor stuff, but also your regular webcams. Like, I keep a cover on mine, when I'm not using my computer, the lid's closed, things like that. I try to stay away from even using some of the Google Home products, but I do have some, but I try to stay away from it. Okay. Some other things, people probably don't even know about this. When you're going to your airport, you're going to like public places, and they have like the public chargers for you to use, I would not use those. There's so many people out there. They're like, it sounds crazy. You wouldn't expect it. You can literally use a port that they have available for you. Yep. You plug it in, it's gonna brick your phone, or they could literally just start pulling data from you. And you think, and it looks like you see nothing. It's just charging your phone. People in the background getting info. So if you don't have your own charger, I would not go around just using people's chargers. I hope no one is doing this. Like people are like, they might drop a USB drive. If you find a USB drive out somewhere, don't use it.
Leave it alone. Right.
Like
leave it alone.
That's a big thing. But I was like, I hope people aren't doing that, because I would never do that. But you just never know. Like, but don't plug in USB drives. You don't know where they came from.
Yeah, that's dirty candy right there.
Right.
It's dirty. Just leave it alone, man. Let it be.
I could really go on. No, it's like a lot of things that people definitely do. I think a big thing, everyone's using social media. So I would think about telling people having OPSEC, right? Operation security. Yeah. In that sense, like, don't allow people to know where you are, because people are always watching you, right? So, turn your locations off. don't leave hints letting people know like, oh, I'm over here, and then you're actually over at that same time. Things like that. I would try to give people.
Yeah, I think also like enabling MFA, multi-factor authentication. Who's just using passwords nowadays?
Right.
So if you have an option to actually use MFA, choose MFA.
Right. It is. I mean, it's inconvenient, but it helps.
Is it? I mean, it's more inconvenient than username and password, but at the same time, as you said, it protects you better than username and password.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not telling people not to use it. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, and I mean, so you said with IoT, it's if and when, and right now it's if, but I think it will come a time when, because I think these companies will start making sure that every appliance is IoT.
Yep.
Because they want to sell things.
Right.
So it's like they talk about putting ads on refrigerators, and it's like, I'm glad at this point I don't have an IoT device because, I would hate that they would lock me out of the refrigerator until I watch, a minute worth of ads. Not saying that's happening, but
it probably
you just never know, right?
That's the direction we're going to. So
Absolutely.
They're getting people like what they're doing is drawing people in with the convenience.
Yep.
So like all the vulnerabilities we're talking about, I believe, don't quote me, but I believe the companies know about these things because they're getting the data from you.
Yeah.
So they're getting the data. Hackers want to get the data as well because the data is what's valuable. Yeah. So like that's a good point. Even
it's a Trojan horse.
Right.
You get a whole refrigerator, a nice refrigerator. It's digital and everything, right? At some point they say, "Hey, we're gonna start showing ads." I didn't ask for this adware.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where did this come from? Hey, you got the refrigerator. If you want a drink, watch this. 1 minute worth of ads. I'm not ads. ADS.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
Right. They heard you. I think they heard you right, man. You good.
That I was clear.
Right. No, that's crazy. But I don't know, man. So like my conclusion still hasn't changed. Yeah. I still think that like cybercrime is first of all, it's more dangerous than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And I think
we're more connected.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse. We didn't even we're not gonna talk about it here, but like we didn't even talk about AI. Right.
Yeah,
that's gonna change everything. So we didn't even talk about that, but it's like my opinion is, cybercrime is more dangerous. I think everyone who's doing crime out there, they're utilizing, internet or technology to further their criminal activity. So that's what makes it more dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can do the crime and not do the time, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your footprint is hard to find you.
Mm-hmm. Especially people don't know. Like you can be way more anonymous.
Yeah.
So like we can go on and on, but that's my conclusion. So what I would just tell the people is be aware, pay attention to what you're doing, stay educated, watch what your children are doing online, monitor everything. Just stay educated is what I would say.
Yeah. And for those of you who have like other tips, leave them in the comments, so we can all like tackle this, this issue.
Let's fight cybercrime. Cybercrime. Internet watch. We could do it, man.
Anyhow, this is Just My Tech Sense. I'm WillDoesTech.
JohnnieTech.
And we will talk to y'all later.
Out.